Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. The Tokyo 2020 Olympics is underway, and after 3 days of competition, the host nation, Japan, leads the medal standings with 8 golds, followed by the US with 7 and China 6. The third day of action was highlighted by 13-year-old Nishiya Momiji of Japan winning gold medals in the women's street skateboarding, which is making its debut at the Games. Momiji was joined on the podium by Brazil's Saisai, also 13, and 16-year-old Nakayama Funa in what is believed to be the youngest Olympic podium ever. What an exciting addition to Games. Chris, I don't know about you, but I like this skateboarding and the fact that, so much young athletes are rising to the top.
No, excellent. And in the skateboarding is something that you'd always have seen on X Games before on your TVs and so on, but it's a great addition to the Olympics. Lovely talent. The outfits are quite interesting as well. A lot of colors involved, in very creative in terms of how they have gone about it. And as you said, young talent, when you actually see the course and so on that they have to operate on, the stunts, it's just amazing the skills that some of these youngsters have. As you said, 13 years old, 16 years old. I mean, it's really lost on the youth, eh?
Yeah, and we talk about skateboarding, and I can't even begin to imagine the amount of preparation, Chris, that would go into an event like this. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Talk to me about the work that a skateboarding coach, would probably have to put in to ensure that their athlete at such a young age gets a gold medal for their country.
Although maybe the coach has things easy. A lot of these youngsters have been doing skateboarding from they're probably 3 years old. I mean, something that you learn to do like riding a bicycle. So. Lovely skills, and I'm sure through their early development these things came about. But the job is same for all coaches. You want to come, you want to know your athlete, manage expectations, talk to them about how to manage pressure and so on. Well, they don't have an issue with big crowds in this, so it might be easier for a lot of those youngsters to adjust to that. But I think it's just really the support system of a coach which is important for these young athletes. But a lot of them, as you said, these skills and so on is something that they have had from their single digits.
It's a lot of skills, because growing up I had a skateboard, and I would remember my time, falling down, bruising up myself. It takes a lot of determination and of course practice to get to that particular spot. Well, Chris, over the weekend I was quite surprised to discover France beating Team USA 83-76 in group action on Sunday. And of course that result ended Team USA's 25-game Olympic win streak. So after 3 consecutive Olympic gold medals, 2 top international teams no longer fare Team USA. I get that sense.
Well, a lot of the teams have been catching up now, eh? Over the years. I mean, this is the first Olympic game that the USA has lost since 2004, 17 years ago. However, as you said, the other teams are catching up. You see a high influx of overseas players in the NBA now. The man who just won the MVP award is from Greece, Giannis. So, I mean, that's an overseas player. Luka Doncic, who came in and has blown up the Olympics in the first match as well. So, a lot of overseas players in the NBA now, and I think that has somewhat close the gap between the USA and a lot of other teams as well. I'm not sure about the preparation as well for the USA, because a lot of their main players were involved in the NBA finals. Of course, with COVID, everything is crunched. So just coming into, a lot of them just joining the team, they would have missed those initial preparation days and so on. So the ability to, the cohesiveness of the side might not be there yet. But yeah, great from France's perspective. To get that victory, and now, as you say, it forces USA's hand. You want to really see the quality of the American team and how they will come to the fore.
I get the sense as if they're no longer the powerhouse. Like when you think you're playing USA, you go into this zone and you have to really strategically plan for them and whatnot. Evan Fournier from Team France, of course, at the end of the match said they weren't intimidated at all, because he felt as if, yes, individually, if you look at the Team USA, you say, all right, they're a strong unit. But if you have them to play together, you're like, no, we're going to beat them easily. And it reiterates the fact that USA is no longer the powerhouse when it comes to basketball.
Well, the USA might still very well win the gold medal, and they're probably
the question.
They're probably still expected to do so. But as you said, a lot of the other teams are catching up. The fear factor is no longer there like it used to be. In the last 8 matches that the USA have had over the last 2 years, they've only won 3 out of that 8. So they have been going through a bad run. France had beaten them 2 years before in the World Champions, in the World Cup or the World Championships of basketball. So So this is something that the USA will have to look at. I think they will come better. They did have leads in this game and allowed it to slip, but look out for them still. There's still a lot of quality players within that USA team, and they're not to be underestimated.
Definitely. And you know, Chris, Team USA, they missed their final 9 shots, and it had me thinking, is it that they're just missing the big names, the superstars like LeBron James? Are they missing Steph Curry? You know, if they were part of Team USA, nobody would mess with them.
But you have had other Olympic scenarios where the USA, where the big name players have turned down the opportunity to come and play in the Olympics, and they have still got the job done. So that being said, you still have a lot of quality players there. You're talking about Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, who's just coming up. Him and Holiday are just coming off winning the NBA Finals. You have Devin Booker, who's there. So you have a lot of quality players with Damian Lillard and so on. So, I mean, yes, there was a bit of rust in terms of the USA because you even look at it, it's an adjusted 3-point line. So the range of shooting from a lot of the players were a bit off.
Yeah.
But I expect a better showing in their second game for sure.
Yeah, for sure. What I do know is they're not going to make the same errors again. And if they do, then they don't deserve to be there. Well, we're sticking with the Olympic discussion, and world number 2 and 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka has finally broken her post-match interview hiatus following her straight sets win over 52nd ranked Zheng Saisai in her first match since withdrawing from the French Open over mental health issues just over 2 months ago. Osaka comfortably beat Saisai 6-1, 6-4 in 1 hour and 27 minutes. After her win, Osaka, who was not obligated to speak to the media, stopped for 3 different groups of journalists in the mix zone outside the stadium. She was quoted as saying, "The Olympics has been a dream of mine since I was a kid, so I feel like the break that I took was very needed. I feel definitely a bit refreshed and I'm happy again. I feel very, very proud. When I lit the flame, I was super honored. That's a position that you dream about and not anyone can do it. And so for me, when they asked me if I wanted to, I was very surprised but very honored. And I'm just happy to be here and happy to play, especially in Tokyo." So Chris, Osaka, an overwhelmingly favorite for gold, considering that world number 1, Ashley Barty, is out.
Yeah, and no disrespect to Ashley Barty, but as I've said before, I still think that once Naomi Osaka is playing, she's the best player in the world, and I think she has displayed that. She's a tremendous tennis player, a great young lady as well at 23. And previously when I heard a lot of pundits and so on coming on and saying they're questioning if she's soft and so on, I think that word is the least word to describe Naomi Osaka. I think she's a very strong individual. She has proven that with her support of Black Lives Matter, her support of her country, how she's traveled to support these things, her background being Haitian, Japanese as well, cannot be easy living in the US, growing up with that kind of background and so on. So kudos to her. Great opportunity for her to light the flame, the first tennis player ever to do that. Female as well. It's just great signs in terms of what this shows for the Olympics and so on. It was a bit of a rusty start for her coming into this tennis game, but expected because she hasn't been playing as much competitive tennis as should have been playing before. But the important thing about a round 1 is just to get past it, just to get that victory. So there was a bit of rust. Her serve was not as precise as should have liked it. Her movement was a little bit shabby. But as you said, those things happen in first rounds, especially after not playing. But look out for her in round 2. She certainly is a player to beat.
And Chris, based on all the different things that she went through, and that must have some aspect to play on the back of her mind. Do you feel it in any way affecting her performance and preventing her from getting gold? No,
I don't think. I think she manages the pressure very well. Look, she's missed 1 interview in her entire career and so on. And obviously she was going through anxiety disorder and so on. That has nothing to do with being soft. That is just something you have to learn to adjust to and work with.
And she's young.
And she's young. She's just 23 years of age. But I mean, as I said, so many other areas of her life, she's shown that mental strength and so on, especially in her game. She's very resilient as a player and so on. She's been down and recovered to win Grand Slam tournaments. So I have no doubt that playing in front of her home crowd and so on is actually something that delights her more than pressures her. I think she'll be very relaxed.
Yeah.
And I see her getting gold in this tournament. I think she does manage the pressure of being the favorite quite well.
Definitely. And speaking about pressure, I have to bring in our Caribbean athletes. Based on what you've seen from them so far, who has impressed you the most?
A lot of athletes have impressed. I mean, in the swimming, we have seen 2 national records. I mean, Alex Sobers as well getting a national record. I think that kind of representation is excellent. We saw some Pierre as well in the what was it, the breaststroke, I think it was, where she did well. Excellent from Haiti as well. She was magnificent, set a national record. So I think those things are the kind of performances we want to see. Yes, Aliyah was in the pool and Dylan as well and so on. And I think great represent. Yes, they did not make it through to the next round, but in terms of a lot of them improving on the things that they have done previously in previous Olympics or in their career and being satisfied with their performances, I think those were the major things to take away for the Caribbean. We also had a young table tennis player who made it through the first round, young Guyanese, and she did very well as well. Chelsea, you know, did lose her second game, but I thought, you know, at such a young age, just her performance.
Still impressive.
Yeah, still impressive, very impressive. So the Caribbean the Caribbean athletes are standing up and being counted. Whether they progress or not is secondary. I think just being there to participate and showing the unity, carrying your flag, and performing with pride, I think is what's very important.
And definitely, and all of us here in the Caribbean, as we wrap this segment, you know, when that flag comes in front of the television, because we're all watching, we're in a pandemic, it brings some sort of inner joy, and we're rooting for you, our Caribbean athletes, and we're looking forward for some gold medals, if that's too much to ask. We go to break, we'll be back.